LJ. How are you?
Hello.
You're very on time.
Yeah, more than us. We are 1 minute
Punctual. That's the word I was looking for.
punctual. Okay, yeah.
So yeah, if there's anybody else there, do say hello. We'd love to say hello to you, or good morning, because it is morning where you are, isn't it? I've literally just gone into afternoon. Just looking at Hattie, she's just cooking herself. Nicole, hello. Hello, Bodhi. Hello, Chopin. Got to say hello to the dogs as well. Good evening, Sue. I love it. How is everyone? Oh, I'm okay. I'm less grumpy. I was just saying to Barbara, I was pretty grumpy yesterday. Less grumpy today, which is good for everybody concerned, particularly my husband. You had to put up with me.
Yeah, we make them suffer sometimes, don't we?
I know. But, it goes both ways, doesn't it, really, if we're honest? Is John still away?
Yeah, until Thursday. Hopefully he'll come back on Thursday because I have to leave on Friday.
Yeah.
Nice if he was back.
Where are you off to on Friday?
Oh, to Windhoek. There's a fun match, fun competition,
Ah, yes.
and
Fab.
then
You'll have to report back.
a bit of training the next day. Yeah, a little bit of agility coaching the next day.
Nice.
Yeah, look forward to it. It's gonna be nice. I hope the weather will be good there.
Is it really warm in Windhoek?
Well, at this time of year, no. Probably, and with all the east wind that we've been having, that's normally cold there, cold wind. It's just that wind heats up and then
Yeah, when it
it's
goes
warmer.
over.
Generally, it is warmer there during the daytime, but the temperatures are much more pleasant in the winter, I guess. But it can be really dry. The weather
Yeah.
and dryness.
Yes, we
Right.
need average humidity at all times. Right, who else have we got? Show yourselves, people. I know
Yeah, send us some hearts so we know that you're there.
somebody
Um,
was saying that they're always there. Oh, it's Teresa, wasn't it? She said she's always there in the car.
yeah,
So if you're there in the car, so you can't type hi.
that's true. That's true.
Super. Right, should we get on with it then? Let's
Let's.
tame some chaos.
Yeah, that's our topic today, right? Is
Yeah,
from
taming
chaos
chaos.
to calm, basically. I've just been this weekend was a lot of yeah, taming the chaos.
It's hard, isn't it,
So
when
we
you've got three dogs and two humans?
you have one
One
human
human, sorry, I meant one human. Yeah, there's a lot
and
of chaos to be
and
tamed.
the weather has been so shite that there have been very little exercising outside.
Yeah,
Everyone knows what that's like, especially you guys
horrible.
in the
Everyone's
States.
like a little pressure cooker, aren't they?
Uh, so anybody else here? So I was thinking like this is just too much. These dogs are just too much. Anybody else here that ever thought, oh, my dog is just too much? You can, you're not alone. I've had that this
Yeah,
weekend,
we've
for
had some
sure.
storms over the weekend, so yes, Hattie, way too much.
Yeah. So those of you who still feel this is too much and you feel like you've, tried everything and it's still chaos, then drop us a yellow heart. We need to support each other. Drop a
We
yellow heart
absolutely
in
do.
the chat, right? That's what we want to talk about today, what to do when things
When it's all too much.
mm,
Because we need a plan.
totally do.
I can't find any hearts.
No, I can see Nicole and Sue and LG, but I can't see any hearts. So they never obviously never thought that their dog was ever too much. That's lovely.
I want to have their dog.
Oh,
Oh,
Sue
Sue's
just
put
wrote here.
yellow
Oh,
heart.
thank
Thank
you.
you,
I
Sue.
was feeling a little bit on the spot here
I can't
because
find it in the emojis. I'm just having a look through. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Got him. There you go. If you want a
yeah,
yellow heart, there's one.
good, good. Yeah, I grab it. I've definitely this weekend or just before the weekend, and then we started implementing changes. And that's something we want to talk to you about.
Exactly that.
Okay. Yeah. So, because we want to, the thing is, we all have a situation and we want something else, right? Oh, Nicole, she also,
Yeah, she went searching.
yeah. Um, and the thing is, when we in the midst of chaos, then change really feels impossible, right? We're just coping.
Exactly. And you just feel so overwhelmed as well, don't you? It's like, I don't think you get that feeling where you think, I don't think I could cope with change because I'm just treading water to keep going.
Yeah. And I tell you what it was like for me. Hello, sweet puppy. So Falky's now like really sweet. We've made super progress. And yeah, he's still, he'll react, he'll bark when he hears some stuff in the neighborhood, but he settles really quickly. And even, on the walks as well, he settles really quickly. So super progress. The two boys get on really, really well. I was just telling Julia, we were on the
Yep.
couch. I had one in each arm. So it was like, that's bliss for me. Feet up on the couch, watching something silly on telly, and, my dogs are right there. So bliss. But of course, I had to go and get myself another puppy, didn't I? And Stevie is super cute and she's lovely. And when she's by herself, she's actually a little angel. She's really cute. And settles on her bed, really enjoys hanging out on a bed, as long as there is no Falky about. And Falky isn't even doing anything with her because by now he's been bullied so many times that he's like, I don't actually want to be in this space at the same time. Not the same room, but like going through gateways and doorways and things because she'll grab him. And then, then you let her out of the kennel and you open a door just to take, just in the house, not the outside door, just to go and take them all to the front door so I can let them out, take them out for a piddle, and they're charging down, and there's just there's rugs everywhere for so that it's not so slippery. But for Stevie, it's like they even though they have stop stuff on it, it's just like slides everywhere, and she's grabbing Falky, and it's just too much. Like this can't cook. This is dangerous. This can't happen.
Yeah.
So what, and then you think, oh, management, she expensing it. She's turning a year
Yeah.
this month, right? So it's not that she's too early out of the expen. It's just that, and I do separate them quite a bit because I know they don't bring out the best in each other. But I realized I need to get some other stuff in place. You can't just, management is important. We all know that, right? Anybody here who feels that management was a lifesaver or a miracle? Let's do a broccoli.
Broccoli.
Yeah,
Going
broccoli.
vegetables.
A broccoli, if you ever felt that management, I'm trying to find broccolis now.
I found the broccoli. There we go.
Oh yeah, me too. Okay, here we go. If management was really been a lifesaver for you, then this is a
Totally.
broccoli. But the thing is, you can't just manage forever. I mean, management is important. What are some of the
Absolutely. It's
reasons?
crucial.
Yeah, let's brainstorm a little bit why management is so important.
Why is management important? Well, the main thing, I mean, it's safety. You hit the nail on the head.
Big
That's
one.
number one, isn't it? Is safety. It's keeping everybody and everything safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we need
And
to prevent that rehearsal as well, the rehearsal of the behaviours that we don't want.
yeah.
Anybody else think of any reasons that management is crucial? We got some broccoli coming in.
Yeah, I see that.
It's one of my
for
favourite
sleep,
vegetables, to be fair.
right? For sleep and safety as well. I mean, sometimes so we want to keep them safe, yes, but we also want the dogs to feel safe, right?
Yes.
And sometimes having a confinement area, whatever that is, whether that's a room or a kennel or an X-pen, whatever that might be, or just gates, to keep them safe.
Hmm.
There is Nicole, helping keep the dog feel safe and secure, exactly. And
Exactly
then
that.
the follow on from that is that they get enough rest, because
Which
rest
is
is so,
huge. Huge.
especially for those of us with dogs that overreact, right? Because the body needs to process all the stuff, chemicals.
Now we've got, I know that, lots of the people that listen in have made loads and loads of progress, but who's ever been in that situation? I had it, well, sort of the other day, where you're on a walk and everything's been going brilliantly. You've started, you know, feelers out into the real world, so you're letting some of the management go, and then your dog has a reaction. And it's like it's a psychological blow, isn't it? Because you think, that's it. Everything that I've done is now down the toilet. I
Yeah.
might as well not have bothered. And you get that real negative self-talk thing.
I
Those
remember,
little setbacks.
yeah, I remember when my sister and my niece came to visit, and we're sitting
Yes.
outside, and the dogs have their enrichment, and the boys were so good, and they were out, in the backyard where Falky could get wild, and the neighbor dog was sometimes barking, but Falky could ignore it, and it was so great, and I let it carry on too long, right?
Yeah.
And that evening, when their buckets were like super full, when everybody else had gone to bed, they suddenly they had a fight. And I was in tears.
You feel horrible, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I felt guilty for making, and stupid, but also really felt like, fuck it, back at square one. Right.
Exactly.
And
So
then, yeah,
LJ's just put management is always in play, less or more as the situation requires.
exactly.
Yeah.
So now and then some of it is about habits, right? Nicole wrote here that Chopin actually started going to his bed on his own or my room when he needs a break.
Yes. Love that. Love, 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 love.
Yeah, and that with her in the house and not waking up and rushing up as soon as she's awake. So it's about building habits, but not but.
And
Habits are super, super important. So um and that comes from, and this is another thing where management helps us. A lot of it has to do with structure, right? So we talked about the safety, we talked about understanding what our dogs are going through and that they need to reset. And we also need to give them more structure. And the thing is that for our dogs to be calmer in whichever situations that they tend to overreact, it doesn't come from control. You guys all know this,
yeah,
right? It comes from clarity and from rhythm, having a good rhythm going, a good schedule for your dog. But sometimes when we get into, if you can't get let go of the management, then the management can be a little bit like be controlling, right? Like, I'll give you an example. Like, when the puppy has the zoomies in the evening and cannot settle, that's very often an indicator that they are tired,
yeah,
right? And so, it happened with all my puppies, right? And then you're like, oh, actually, I think he might need some time in the crate, which is fine because they need a lot of sleep. But then that can become a crutch as the dog gets older, not for the puppy, but as the dog gets older. You also need to teach them what you want them to do when everybody is in the living room, right? They need to learn to be calm in that environment. We can't just always put them away. And I'm just using this as an example. I know that nobody here does that. So what we want to clarify a little bit today is the how do we get from chaos and then management as instant
Relief.
relief, thank you.
Hmm.
And then to now be really creating calm, right? Calm dogs. How do we do that?
Well, absolutely. So, and it's about those three things that you said. It's about understanding our dogs and understanding what it is that makes them feel safe, so that we can support them. Because even though we're talking about not managing all the time, that doesn't mean not giving them any support. Of course, it doesn't. It means that that support might look different, and we support in different ways rather than just using management all the time. So support can come from creating habits using different types of training,
Mm,
building confidence, doing confidence games, enrichment, all those kind of other things. That's still supporting your dog,
mm.
because what you're doing is you're helping them build the skills that they need in
Yeah,
order to be pretty cool
yeah,
in all those things. So,
totally.
and then
Yeah,
there's the structure.
yeah.
This is something that I think we felt from our own perspectives that was something that could easily go missing. I know that I'm a little bit of a random person. I'm not always the most structured person in the world. So creating structure and having something to help with structure, I've found really useful. And that's why, I mean, if you've had a look at the planner that we did, it's really why we did that, wasn't it? Just because it
Mm,
was almost
mm.
for ourselves to say, look, we need to have this kind of structure. So, whether you use our planner, whether you have something of that you do yourself, whatever, but creating that structure, we found really useful.
Yeah. And the thing is the where it becomes overwhelming is because there are so many moving bits, right? So
Mm,
we have our dogs get triggered, we have to make sure that their health and wellness is okay. Then we have to make sure that we train some skills, but which ones? Or maybe we have a good training program that we follow, but then we don't know how to support our dogs emotionally. What do we do at home? So with just my example here with little Stevie turning up the volume, basically. I mean the energy, right, for everyone in the house. The when I let her out when she has a nap, normally in the bedroom, in her kennel there, and it's like a longish passage. So it's from the kennel to out of the bedroom. Then there's a longish passage, and then it's the front door, and there is a baby gate. But I realized that often what happens is I decide, okay, now it's time to let the puppy out. I was, ideally before she cries. So I open the baby gate, I step through, I go and open that bedroom door, I go to the kennel, and then she has to sit in the kennel. So I've got
yeah.
certain structures because these are structures, right? These are certain habits. So it's not all about like a daily schedule. This is important. I cried over trying to get it on top of
You
my
did,
daughter's
didn't
bed.
you? Oh,
Yeah,
bless
I think
you.
I wrote a thing on that.
You did,
But
yeah.
but because depending where we are at, but that's I don't talk about that now. Anyway, so there's that, and then there's other little structures, little habits. I think I talked a little bit about it 2 weeks ago in the share with our cookie what is it, our little cookie ceremony when we start a walk, but
Yes.
little rituals. But so here we go. So my dogs have to sit, in the kennel, crate games, you open the door and then they get released. And our little Stevie, she would she would then charge out of the crate, which is not great. I want her to because she's looking for Falcon, right? So charge out of the crate and then Falky's there and then they charge down the passage and to the front door. And then I realized, no, we can't have it. At the door, there is a ritual. They have to sit to be let out the door. So there are elements, but I realized, from A to B, there was still lots of stuff that I didn't like. So then I was thinking, okay, what can I do to introduce more structure into just those, it happens several times every day, even without having her crated, we would just all be in this room, and then I say, oh, it's time to let her out, because she still has to let out quite a lot. Otherwise, we have accidents, and then it dawned on me that I can use that baby gate, have them sit and wait for releases there. I also need to work more on, the threshold thing, like go out but look back, like we do, with crate games, have the bedroom door closed when I go in and release her from her crate, right? Because then she'll be like, oh, you're the best thing around here. But if Falk is also in the room, then Falky will be the best thing around here. Little things like this.
Yeah.
Or when we keep the dog on a lead, and when we can have them off lead, even like maybe with exercises in the house, right? Or maybe I can do something off lead in the house, but if I want to do it in the garden, then I might have to have her on lead and the other two can be loose, something like that. So there is all sorts of things, and I think we figure that out by understanding, back to what you were saying about understanding, what it is that triggers our dogs. So I know that for Stevie, just having Falky in the mix brings up the arousal. But it's not, for me, it's really difficult. I do separate, but I really don't like it. And if I don't go about it in the right way, then I will create other unwanted behaviors like barking and howling in the crate, right? Or running into the windows and things like that. So how can we build little routines into our day that get us closer to our expectations, right? The things that we want. And in order to figure that out, we need to know what our dog's triggers are. Then if we want to work through something, we need to know what our dog's reinforcers are. There's lots of that we need to kind of figure out what our daily routine is and how we can fit things into there. And we need to know what our expectations and our goals are, because it's the expectations. And then from that, we can distill those or formulate those into goals, right? And I think when we realized how many pieces there were, to creating a better every day, that's when we came up with our planner thing. And I love it, because that's what I did now, right? Just figuring out this is what sets him off, and then this is where I need to interrupt. You could also look at it as like there's a flow of reinforcement that's happening, and you kind of need to step in and change. But it doesn't matter which lens you use. I can't hear
Exactly
you
that.
down
So we've
there.
got Hattie having a little quiet grumble to herself here.
Yeah, now I could hear it. Oh, that sounds so cute.
It's because she's lying on the floor behind me.
Ah,
So she's in the whatnot. She's all a little bit.
doesn't she like it there?
No, she loves it there.
So why would she? Oh, that's why we hear her.
Yeah, that's where you hear
Okay,
her.
I thought that's
Exactly
why she's
that.
grumbling.
No, no, she's grumbling because she's an old lady and Dash is poorly, and that's making her feel all a little bit weird. Right, I put a link to the planner anyway in the comments in case
Oh,
anybody
did you?
fancied having a little look at that.
Oh,
Absolutely.
that's cool.
It made a difference to us,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
it's. So what's it actually? What's in the planner? What we've got all sorts of stuff in there. So we use our shapes thing. So it's sort of layered in that shapes type of way. We've got logs for reinforcers, for triggers, daily planners, habit trackers, health and self-care pages, goals pages, all sorts of stuff. So if that sounds cool to you, the link's there for
Yeah,
you.
there's the link. You can grab it. So Sue shared, I had that twice in one night 2 days ago. A dachshund came running out of a driveway barking. Then I had him playing down the park with a border collie. And then a big black Labrador came and attacked. Oh,
And that's like one of those massive setbacks, isn't it? Where you just think, oh
oh,
my God, what's the point? This is rubbish. But yeah, it's just bad luck.
That's what she mentioned. Yeah. And then it's really important to get back, from that feeling of like, oh, I mean, look, we also sometimes, hello, sweetheart. We also sometimes have to just feel the emotion. That's important. And hey, Falky, can you please get out from under here? I've got, you guys are all in one bundle here.
You got a bundle of dogs.
Yeah. Oh, sweetie. I really don't need
Little,
you on that now. Can you see her?
little face.
Okay, then you.
She just loves her mum so much.
You pop it up there. Pop it up. There we go. Good. That's very good. I wonder if you can hear Hattie. Here you go, boy. That's for you. In fact, can
Is
you
that,
like
was it your fault, Hat? Oh no. So let me ask people that are watching, let me ask you all a question. Can you tell us one thing that you wish you were more consistent with your dog? One thing that you wish you were more consistent with your dog. What would I say I wish I was more consistent with my dogs?
Thank you. That's not nice. Leave him alone. Yeah.
I wish I was more consistent of popping them on their beds while I ate dinner. Because I don't do it every time. And when I don't do it, and when I do it, I'm like, why don't I do this every time? So yeah, that's one thing for me.
Pop it up there. There's a good. Well, right now, more consistent with my that whole release sequence that I described.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should be on your perch. Did you hear that? Long, that was her head.
Sounds like everybody that's watching is super consistent, which is it is one actually. To be fair, you just sit there and you think one thing. I wish I was more consistent with lots of things. I wish I was more consistent doing little bits of training, planning. Yeah, no, and I always think this as well with my training. What rather than getting to a training session and then going right, okay, what are we going to do? I wish I knew what I was going to do because I'd bloody planned it out and I've got a strategy. That's the planner would help with that, wouldn't it? Loads.
You see, that is kind of some of those training sessions that are sort of impromptu. So it's been niggling me for the longest time that Valky's door behavior
Yeah.
is not as I've never had a dog. He's also inconsistent in his crate. I don't know why. Maybe it's backfiring from the door behavior. But I know that with him, when I take him out, because we have a security door and we have the main door. And I didn't, when he was a puppy, I would have him sit at the main door and then have him remain in that sit while I open the security door. And then I would release him. Right? And this is now backfiring on me because when he sits at the security door, it's a completely different picture.
Yes.
And he's excited and he can see stuff. And then he finds it really hard to sit. And then I think what I've done for the longest time is I just nagged him. Come on, you must sit. And then sometimes, I know this is, look, this is not, this is a secret. Sometimes I just let him go.
Don't tell anybody.
So of course, my sit behavior at the door totally deteriorated. So now I decided, okay, I've got to do something about it. And it's particularly bad. It's not too bad when he's on his own, but it's particularly bad when I have all the dogs there.
Yeah.
So I can't even dream about having them release one by one, by their names when they can't even sit, all of them. So the oldest and the youngest, yes, but not the middle child. So then I decided, no, I'm going to do something about it, and I stay consistent with it. And the answer is always more reinforcement. So now what we do instead of nagging him, when the other dogs are in the picture, I'll just reinforce with a search cookie. Each sit gets reinforced with a search cookie multiple times on the inside. The door's not even opened yet.
Yeah.
And Falky wants to play too, right? So it's not, I should what I should do is and that's the thing that I need to be more consistent with. I should just go and say, okay, this is getting on my nerves. I'm going to do something about it. Our next training session, just Falkies, is going to be at the door.
Yeah.
But there's always something else that
There always is, isn't there?
yeah.
Always something, no matter what we do. So yeah, the planner's there if you want it. Do go and get it, should you so desire.
Nice.
Super
Okay.
duper. Right.
Good. Nobody has problems with consistency, or nobody's there anymore. I don't know.
Or they're just thinking, which one of all the billion things shall I put?
Okay. So if you don't have a problem with consistency, oh, here comes Nicole. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Tricky with the little, yeah. Nicole writes, I wish to be more consistent with reminding visitors not to greet until Chopin has four on the floor. No jumping.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Good one.
Really good one. Really good one. Because that's one that really does need total consistency.
Yeah. Great, Mobile. I think that's it for today.
Yeah, unless anybody has any questions.
Yeah, so but you can also post questions in the Facebook group. And here's one. Those of you who've got a good plan, or have used our planner, or have a good routine going, or some kind of means of doing structure, post it in the Facebook group. Let others know what works. If you've grabbed, if you're already using the planner, if you looked at it, maybe just share what you think of it.
Sorry,
And
you're over your shoulder, Barbara.
oh, did you see she's got a toy in her mouth,
Yeah,
and then she's doing this with her paw
yeah.
on his, I don't know.
She's a monkey.
She's a total monkey.
Oh
There's
dear.
a squeaky toy around. She will hold a toy in her mouth and then pounce on the squeaky toy. Now Falky has to be the squeaky toy.
Play with me. Little toe rag. So has anybody, let's check for questions. None at the moment. Now I'm not quite sure what time and day we're going, because I can't do this time and day next week. So we'll have to come up with something in a minute. Yeah, we'll come up with a plan. So we'll let you know over the next day or so.
Great.
So have a fabulous week, everybody.
We'll see you.
Be good. Bye.
Bye.